These are unsettling times we live in. What with a bag of mixed blessings science has handed us. We have bombs so destructive and detergents so powerful, we don't know whether we'll be blown to bits or sudsed to death. Every day, a new research study makes something we've enjoyed all our lives suddenly dangerous to our health. Transplants are becoming so common, the time is near when we won't really be sure who we're shaking hands with. And there are all those communication systems, satellites, computers, and a zillion different telephones, any one of which of those, anytime, anywhere, can reach out and touch us. Now that's really something to think about, a mixed blessing indeed. And yet, without access to one another over the telephone, hospital personnel would be so hampered, the whole process of quality patient care would virtually come to a standstill. Like it or not, we're in the circle of an enormous, complex telecommunications system. Yet, too many of us are not telecommunications oriented. Skilled in our jobs? Yes. Skilled in the use of the telephone? Not necessarily. It's time we made positive efforts to clean up our act on the telephone. It is sad but true, we have developed, to paraphrase a popular advertising slogan, ring around the caller, and it shows. A nasty business, this ring around the caller, giving telephone users raging headaches, hypertension, sinking spells, and indigestion. So let's get straight to the point. In our hospital lives, productivity is the essence of professionalism. And productive telephone techniques are part and parcel of that premise. Like everything else, effective use of the telephone requires that we follow some basic rules. For the sake of keeping them separated, we call these the telecommandments. While they're not engraved in stone, they should be carved on every hospital telephone. Telecommandment number 1. Thou shalt make thyself known at once, who you are and where you are. Succinct, non-informative blurbs are not only rude, but in the hospital, completely unacceptable.
Okay, I'm here.
All right.
Hello?
These all indicate not the slightest interest in anything but the urge to stop the phone ringing. And they frequently can add to a crisis rather than helping.
Okay, I'm here.
Where the you been? I bet I let this phone ring 20 times.
Well, I'm here now. What do you want?
We got a short up here. Everything's blown.
Who the is this anyway?
Oh, for sake, this is Murphy in radiology. This is an emergency. We got patients stacked up here like cordwood.
Well, you've got the wrong number. What you need is an electrician.
That turkey hung up on me.
How much time and aggravation could have been saved if just one of these people had invoked the first telecommandment?
Cifuentes, maintenance.
Damn. I've got the wrong number. Sorry.
Failure to identify yourself properly not only works against productivity, it often sparks ill will with all its ramifications.
Wait. I can't take that information. You'll have to talk to the head nurse.
Well, why didn't you say so? I'm not a mind reader. Put her on.
So call her back. She's busy right now.
Oh, I will, sweetie. And the first thing I'm going to do is report you, whoever you are.
In the hospital, requests are made, diagnoses passed along, medications and procedures dictated, all on the telephone. By and between people who are floors apart, many of them total strangers, with nothing in common but getting the job done. Do your part to see that the job is well done. Identify yourself. And if you don't know who you're talking to, ask. Telecommandment number 2. Thou shalt not eat, drink, or be merry on the telephone. Anything in your mouth, food, chewing gum, cough drops, garbles your conversation.
We must have a bad connection. Is that static I hear?
Nah, that's a piece of celery. I'm eating my lunch.
Well, save it until I finish. I bet you didn't hear a word I said.
Are you mad about something? What'd you say your name was?
This is Mrs. Harried, 7 West, and I'm just very busy. Would you please read my order back without the vegetables?
Yes.
This is Vera, 4 West. Who are you talking to, Bill Cosby? This is important.
It's all too true. Hospital employees trade jokes, eat entire meals, type or run the adding machine, all while talking on the telephone. Small wonder messages get mixed up and serious mistakes are made. Give the caller your full attention. Hospital people are busy. Time is always crucial, and information, given or taken, must be correct. Telecommandment number 3. Thou shalt, if it kill thee, be courteous, cooperative, and patient. It's very easy to get angry on the telephone, yet anger throws a short in your mental processes, wipes out your ability to reason.
Dr. Graphic's office. Hold, please. Yes?
Did it ever occur to you that I might not be able to wait? I've got better things to do than sit here on terminal hold.
Who's calling?
Now, it's true that the number one cause of high blood pressure today could very well be waiting on hold, memorizing Beethoven's Unfinished Symphony. But far better, Beulah, under the circumstances, to bite your tongue and get on with your business.
This is Beulah Barricade, 5 East. I have an emergency with one of Dr. Graphic's patients.
Just a moment. I'll put you through.
Another showstopper that has nothing to do with courtesy or cooperation.
Who's calling?
This comes across as arrogant. It says the doctor is not into just anybody, and probably most definitely not to the caller. A word to anyone responsible for screening calls. The answer should always be definite.
Yes, he's in. He's with a patient. May I take a message? No, I'm sorry. He's out right now. May I have him return your call?
Give callers answers, options, and alternatives that satisfy their needs. And about patients, it is virtuous always, but it is essential in hospital communications.
What? You let me say all of that and you weren't even listening?
Look, you're talking too fast. If I got all the info the first time, I wouldn't ask. Say it again, slowly.
Remember, whoever you are, when you call in an order, a request, or instructions, you know what you want, but it's all news on the other end of the line. Be patient if you have to repeat, and be thoughtful enough to give the other person a chance to get ready. Speak distinctly and slowly, and very important, be conscious of your voice quality. Some pitches and accents go right through the listener like prune juice.
Hello? Miss Barricade, 5 East.
If your voice is naturally loud and raucous, practice toning it down. Lower the pitch a bit, but don't mumble.
Hello, Miss Barricade, 5 East.
Above all, no matter how rushed, frazzled, or fatigued you may be, exercise patience and cooperation when a panicked caller calls you.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't have that information handy, but give me your name and telephone number, and I'll get right back to you.
Telecommandment number 4, thou shalt use thy head and keep thy wits about thee. Common courtesy and consideration are important, as we've seen. But there really is a great deal more involved in the hospital. We are, first of all, problem solvers for hundreds of patients. Arriving at solutions demands that we use the telephone with efficiency, competence, and intelligence also. Necessary to efficiency, of course, is promptness.
I bet I let this phone ring 20 times.
Unlike your own personal Walden's Pond at home, where you can dilly-dally all you like, it is vital in the hospital to answer the telephone promptly. Unless you're handcuffed to the water cooler, 3 rings should give you ample time. Be aware that except for an occasional nutcake, the person calling is going to have something important to say. So have a pad and pencil handy, and prepare to give prompt attention to whatever surprise awaits you.
Listen, I forgot to tell you, I need a new identiband for Mr. Harper ASAP. We moved him yesterday. Now the nurse is breathing down my neck.
Hey, no problem. What's his patient number and new room number?
That's efficiency. Much more productive and useful than the sarcastic replies we so often hear. Competency goes hand in hand with efficiency. It dictates that you know what you want to say before you pick up the telephone. Keep it simple, clear, and as brief as possible without being rude.
This is Marie, 8 East. I have an order change. Mr. Busby, 812A, is to go NPO effective immediately. Would you repeat that back to me, please?
Competence also says that you are considerate of other people's time, which means that you get to the point, even if you are on friendly terms and given to chatting.
Hi, Adelaide. This is Beulah. Listen, I've got to talk to you about the restrooms on this floor. Oh, and by the way, about that maid, her cologne is making my patients sick. It smells like a combination of Revlon and Raid.
Beulah, for heaven's sake, what about the restrooms? I'm doing a meeting in 3 minutes.
It is always prudent to inquire whether the person you're calling has time to talk. And speaking of prudence, above all, use it when giving out information on the telephone.
Dr. Graphic's office? No, and I don't expect him back. He's taking delivery on a new Mercedes.
With any luck at all, that was probably a patient calling to complain about a bill.
This is Connie Cuisine, dietary. We're changing Mrs. Tipple's diet again. I swear, she's one of the most undernourished alcoholics I've ever worked with.
Wow, I just brought the old gal up from therapy. I didn't know she was an alkie.
What? Who is this?
Too late, Connie. Know who you're talking to. That therapist who helpfully picked up the phone shouldn't have such privileged information. Remember, too, just because someone claims to be a relative, it ain't necessarily so.
Vera Vocal, 4 West. You're Mrs. Jones' sister? Oh, she's doing fine. Her stitches are healing nicely.
That Vera was not Mrs. Jones' sister. It was her nosy neighbor who just confirmed her suspicions, thanks to you. Mrs. Jones is here for a major face overhaul, not a checkup. Your job is to act as a buffer for patients, so keep your wits about you. Confine your remarks to doing nicely and skip the details. We have a long way to go toward cleaning up our act on the hospital telephone, to keep from becoming terminally strange when we pick one up, to avoid saying things and assuming attitudes we wouldn't dream of saying or doing person to person. To wipe out, in other words, that debilitating, creeping ring around the caller. The telecommandments will help. Memorize them. Use them. Thou shalt make thyself known at once who you are and where you are. Thou shalt not eat, drink, or be merry on the telephone. Thou shalt, if it kill thee, be courteous, cooperative, and patient. Thou shalt use thy head and keep thy wits about thee. Only you, each one of you, can keep that important life-saving circle of telephone communications flowing smoothly. Only you can ensure that your hospital's patients continue to have the best quality care it is possible to give. And after all, isn't that really the only reason your hospital exists?